And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life with the Home Cook. Tonight we are continuing our series of preparation, getting ready for the big day. And we're going to talk today about everything you need to know for a stress free Thanksgiving. Now, we've been working on this topic for several weeks now,
Mhm.
and it's been a great time. We've had such a good time. And tonight, first of all, let me say hello to Denise Jordan, who is with us from Homemaking with Denise.
Hello,
And
hello,
of course,
hello.
Leona Dooley of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. Hello, Michelle Nelson. We're so glad to have you, that you're with us today. So we're going to talk a little bit. First of all, just to get everybody in, I see people are dropping in very quickly. So welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you. Thanksgiving is almost here, Denise. Oh my
I
goodness.
know. And Leona, I cannot wait. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, even more so than Christmas, because
Mhm.
Thanksgiving is that time where families gather together to just give thanks for God's blessings and whatever it is that they have. So I am so excited about Thanksgiving.
Oh, me too. Me too. It is about family. And so often, you may see people at Thanksgiving that you won't even see at Christmas. And so this is going to be really a lot of fun. And, for those of you who are with us tonight, you know that we are here to help make things as easy as possible and enjoyable for
Mhm.
you, because I don't know about you, but when I have a pretty smooth sailing
Mhm.
holiday, I'm happy as a little lark. So,
Well, and
Denise.
here's the other thing too, Leona. If you can have a stress-free Thanksgiving, you
Mhm.
can enjoy the people that are gathered around the table. I remember one Thanksgiving I didn't plan well, and I worked myself to a frazzle. So by the time all the people were gathered around the table, I had to come upstairs and lay down. I was so
Oh,
exhausted. And it might have been shortly after I'd had my cardiac event too. So I was still
mhm,
kind of, not really at full capacity.
mhm.
So I have since learned to pace myself.
Absolutely. And that's key. And one of the things I know we will talk about a little bit is the fact that the home cook, the mom, whomever it may be, our dad, whomever's doing the cooking and the
Yeah,
preparations
sometimes it is
for
bad.
Thanksgiving, they have to take care of themselves.
Mhm.
And so we're going to try to offer some suggestions to you tonight that is going to help you get through the holidays and be able on Friday morning, when it's all over with, you'll be able to go, whew, that was so easy. So that's where we are. Now, in our previous shows, we've talked about organizing our pantries. I hope everybody's been following along with us and doing it as we've been doing it. We've talked about planning your menu, and we talked about smart shopping.
Mhm.
And if you were with us last week, we talked about some make ahead dishes. And so I am um, so excited to be able to continue with that. And we're going to come back to that. But I just have to pop this in, Denise. Somebody you're going to want to see. Look who's here.
Oh, my little Morgan Rose. Hooray. Hooray. Morgan is here. Oh my goodness. I must meet her.
Oh, guys, we're grandmothers, and when those granddaughters come in, we just have to stop right then
I
and
didn't know
take
she
a
was
moment.
in there.
Last week we had Brianna. This week we
Mhm.
got Morgan. So it's just fun. Now, I asked everyone as they were coming in to let us know where they were coming from. Also, and I know some of you are with us all the time, but we do have few new people who are also tuning in. And so let us know, what you have been doing along the way with us. That if you've got your Thanksgiving menu set, if you've done some of your smart shopping and you got your grocery list and all those things and started, and trying to get those things prepped. So I promise, guys, I'm going to come back to you, but I just had to catch Morgan because I know she's got a bedtime. And so before we finish, she may actually be in the bed. So we
Mhm.
want to make sure that we have a chance to say hello to her early. Now, back to what we were talking about. If you have noticed, I hope all of you have on our community pages, we have been posting some of our favorite make ahead dishes. And we may have one or two, that are out there. I won't say that we'll do it every day,
Yeah.
but when we have time, we will certainly add some of those make ahead dishes.
One of
And
the make ahead dishes I put on there was my homemade cranberry sauce. Well, that's the only one I've got up so far. I'm working on my mashed potato one to put up there. But Morgan Rose helped make the cranberry sauce last Thanksgiving when we were at Uncle Walt's house. So she's can attribute firsthand that homemade cranberry sauce is real easy.
oh, yummy. It looked delicious,
Mhm.
Denise. I thought, I usually do the cranberry sauce, make the cranberry sauce for
Mhm.
Christmas. And I thought, I might have to do that for Thanksgiving because it really did look good.
And it's
And
so
since
easy.
yeah, we love our cranberry sauce.
Mhm.
So we've got to have some of that. Also, we're going to talk about some of the things that, as we're moving along, things that we can prep in advance, and going to give you a few cooking tips. We're going to talk about all of that. And so, if you are ready to host like a pro, and you still have time to enjoy the holiday, we want you to get comfortable, get a piece of paper, because we got we got stuff to talk about tonight, and we are ready to share with you. And I know all of you have great ideas. I posted down in the description box the previous shows that we have been doing. We did the first episode, which is budget friendly holiday meal planning. And that is critical, not
Mhm.
just for everybody, it's really critical for all of us to try to stay within our budgets. We had a biscuit 101 making, because I'm hoping that you all are going to make some delicious homemade biscuits over the holiday. We
Especially for breakfast.
for breakfast, absolutely. And we also talked about last week Thanksgiving essentials that you want to pick up right now while they are on sale, and doing that smart shopping. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the menu and setting up a holiday. Now, last week, we'll take a moment and kind of see who's out here, if you don't mind. Denise, while I'm doing that and kind of clicking people back and forth, do you want to kind of give us a little rundown of what's going on with Apron Diva?
Oh, sure. Well, we've got some new pieces in for the Thanksgiving holiday, and I'm hoping that Blue Skies has our new one up. We call it Copper Thanks, and it's very similar to the Thankful last year, but it's more in a coppery color, and then it's got a different Thanksgiving wreath on the bib. So yes, we have
Oh,
our holiday aprons in, and some of the holiday aprons are on sale. So do be sure and check us out at www.aprondiva.com. And Luann from Hawaii.
yes, yes.
Hey,
How about that? We're so glad to have you.
I wonder what time it is over there.
I don't know. Luann, you'll have to tell us about what the time difference is. I'm not sure. What, about 4 or 5 hours, maybe? I'm
Hmm.
not sure. Please let us know. Southern Ways with Felicia. Hello, Felicia. We've got Nita B. Hello, hello. Got Hillary. Hello.
Oh,
Now,
glad to
you
see
said,
you, Hillary.
yes, yes. We're so glad you're here. And well, thank you. Yes, I'm trying to get things done. You know, after you get past 50, I noticed where I put that. Past 50. Then it takes a little longer to get all the Christmas decoration up. So I started early. So I hope you all are enjoying that.
I'm enjoying it. I was like, oh, I was looking around my office thinking, okay, I need to get mine up too. So
Oh goodness. Okay, we've got Vicky is with us. Hey Vicky, so glad to see you. We've got Carol. Hi. Looking forward to learning more from us tonight. Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, we had Morgan. Yay, got her in. What was it? Wait a minute, let me go back to that. Got nothing yet.
Cal, you might
Well,
want to get started because
all
right now
right.
things are on sale, and the week before Thanksgiving, for some reason, they take them off sale.
I know. I don't know what that's all about. So I guess they're trying to encourage us to get going. Now, Kim says she shopped today and she'll be making all the casseroles and dessert to take to her son's house an hour away. Logistics is her issue.
Oh,
I'm
this
sure it is trying to get everything that distance. And we'll talk a little bit about that because there are some things you might try that may help with that. Now, I'm sure Cal's talking about the cranberry
mm-hmm,
sauce, the homemade cranberry sauce. She loves it with oranges. Me too.
mm-hmm.
Vicky said she loves homemade cranberry sauce, but not all of her family nor her in-laws care to try it. That's terrible.
Well,
They
here's the thing. How do they know? Just put it in a dish and don't tell them it's homemade. Just put it out there.
Yeah, because now I usually put out the whole berry sauce if I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do can, and I may throw some mandarin oranges or something in there just to make it look a little special, but so you just have to try to slide it in on them and see
Yeah.
what they do.
Unless they prefer jellied, and I've not made jellied cranberry sauce. I don't know how you'd have to strain it, I guess, to get the
Hmm.
skins out. But Vicky, I I'm with Leona. I'd like slide it in there.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh wow, Luann. Okay, Luann says it's 3 p.m. Oh, that's not bad. That's
Oh
not
yes,
bad
eight
at
o'clock,
all.
almost 8 o'clock. 5 hours. That's not too bad.
Okay. She's laughing. All right, we've got Jerry.
Jerry,
Oh, hello,
hello,
hello. Good
Jerry.
to see you. We've got Yaya in her business. Hello, ladies. She's always watching us both. She said she be in the bushes. She just wanted to come out and say hello. Made the biscuits and they came out good. Oh, that's
You
wonderful.
make from Vegas.
Wonderful. So glad you did. Well, we've got some other things planned, so stay tuned. We're going to talk about that today. And Yolanda,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Let me write that down.
Me too.
Okay, it's Yolanda. Great. Thank you. All right. Now, so let's keep going. Well, last week we took a look at our menu, and of course we had a very, very traditional menu. If you recall from last week, with either turkey and chicken, or I know some of you said that you were going to do a roast.
Hmm.
Some of you had pork loins, and we had a few variations here and there. We've got a friend who's actually going to fry fish, and I know that's right down your alley, Denise. And and they're gonna have fried fish as well, but they will have turkey. And so they have, we were talking about. I was talking with them about trying to make sure that they start gathering those items as soon as possible. So what we're going to do with the timeline is that we're going to give you that what to do first, when to do it, and just planning and creating your own timeline. Now, the reason I did not post a timeline as such, I may certainly put on the community page my sample timeline,
Hmm.
but each of us you really have to look at your life. What is it that you've got going on? And add those things into that time frame. But there are some things that we can think about. Now, first of all, several weeks before Thanksgiving, you by actually for me, I like knowing by the 1st of November what dishes I need to prepare.
Mhm.
And I typically have a tentative menu as to what we're going to do. Now, we have said this, I know, many times. And for those of you who are new and may not have heard this, but you do not have to be the only cook. You heard me. You
Mm.
don't have to be the only cook. All of us, anyone who's coming to your house can share in the cooking.
They can bring something. They can bring a dish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you set your menu, let your guests know what the menu is and say, I would love for you to prepare something. And they can either prepare something that's on your menu, or they might say, well, I really don't know how to make any of that, but I do know how to make such and such. And
Mhm.
they can bring it. Let them bring it. Even if it's something that's not traditional, don't get hung up in the tradition, because
Right.
families have their own thing,
And
whatever.
don't get hung up in being ashamed to say, I don't know how to make that. And can I
Absolutely.
make something else? Because we had a soup supper one year and invited some friends over just for like soup and crackers, that kind of thing. But
Mhm.
I like to have corn muffins with my soups. And so I this one lady said, well, what can I bring? I said, well, why don't you bring some corn muffins? I mean, I just assumed everybody can bring that. She didn't know how to make corn muffins, and she didn't tell me. She went to Cracker Barrel and bought corn muffins from Cracker Barrel, and those would have been pretty
Oh,
expensive. I said, why didn't you just tell me you didn't know how to make that? You could have
yeah.
bought something different. So don't hesitate to say, I don't know how to make that. But like Miss Leona said, I do know how to make blah, blah, blah. So can I bring
Mhm.
whatever that?
Mhm. Now, something you said last week, Denise, has stuck with me. And that's the fact that, I'd say more so young cooks,
Mhm.
and those who maybe aren't so young, because we do have people who aren't so young who still are not everyday cooks. You know what I'm saying? So, something that you said was the fact that find your specialty dish.
Yes.
Find whatever it is that you can make well. And once you know what that is, then when everybody's having something, they kind of know what your specialty dish is going to be, until you decide that you have another specialty dish.
Right.
And as a young cook, when people, I can remember back years ago when my friends would have, I had a couple of friends who had been married longer than me, so because of that, they had cooked more,
Mhm.
and I was still pretty new. So what they would do, they would ask me first, okay, what can you cook? They didn't assign. They said, what do you want to bring? And so I would say, okay, can I bring so and so? And so they would work the menu around whatever it was that I
And I
could
think that's important too, Leona. When you said when you first get started, you may not know how to cook much,
make.
but so because I can just hear someone saying, well, how do I find my specialty? I don't have one. Just choose something and
Hmm.
then practice it. Just choose something and make it. And you can make it ahead and
Hmm.
see how it turns out. And then have it at home that week just to make it ahead. And then when it's time for the holiday, make it again to take to the holiday. And if you make it ahead and it turns out pretty good, go ahead and put it in that casserole dish and then put it in the freezer until time to get it out.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And as cooks, period, sometimes even our specialty dishes, we have certain dishes that we just know are going to be absolutely perfect.
Mhm.
But I know there have been times that I've fixed cornbread, and something with that cornbread didn't come out right because it may have been off a little bit. So it's always good to have a chance to really practice before you get into that particular time and ready to take it to someone else's house. So as the host, my suggestion is, if you, and I know quite a few of you are actually hosting, and so I'm going to kind of start there. As the host, as at this point, you will have set your menu. I would suggest that because they're going to be coming to you, the most difficult thing to transport from place to place is going to be the turkey and probably the dressing.
Yes.
And those two items. And so, if you want to prepare those two items, at least the turkey, prepare that at your house. And then everybody else can bring everything else. And the nice thing about that is that then at the end of the night, guess what? They can either take it back, or if there's anything left to take back. Or you might suggest to everyone to bring leftover dishes, little takeaway dishes. And dollar store is full of them that you can get nice little takeout dishes that you can put almost a whole little meal for the next day in that dish. And
I
that's
think,
nice.
Leona, as you talk about that, I think as part of your preparation, you might even want to pick some up yourself, because there's going to be invariably someone that forgets to bring one. And I have Sunday dinner about every couple of months. And then someone always says, do you have any paper plates? And I don't, because I never have those things at home until it's holiday time. But I think I'm going to try to plan ahead to have that. But yeah, plan ahead, and you have some of those things just in case somebody doesn't bring theirs. And right now, Dollar Tree or somewhere like that might have some cute ones that are holiday theme related that you might be able to pick up. So I like that idea of planning ahead and having some of those on hand.
Absolutely. Walmart, I went in Walmart the other day and they actually had them. They have them in Christmas colors, and they had one whole end cap that was nothing but little containers, and just depending on the size of what you were doing. So if you were preparing, say, a congealed salad or some type of salad that you needed to transport, they were heavy enough for you to be able to do that. But then I know, if you're like me, typically when I travel, I want to be able to leave the dish there. I don't want to have to bring it back.
Can I go boom for that?
Yep.
Boom. Like get those disposable, very inexpensive dishes, theme related, and you could just leave them there. You don't have to worry about washing them out and bring them home. The host can wash them out and store them if they want them for the next year, or they can dispose of them. But yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah. Down in the description box, I also put some of the items that I know I usually try to have, like some of the I put in the aluminum pans. I know a lot of times I do the macaroni and cheese, the sweet potatoes in those aluminum pans. And my green beans, once I prepared them, I put them into the aluminum pan because I can slide those into the oven. They can stay nice and hot in there, as well as our greens, whatever it is. But you can use those nice long pans and use them as a part of your buffet once you're finished. And they're inexpensive enough that you can throw them away at the end of the night. So that's nice to have. Do you usually get a fresh turkey or a frozen turkey?
I think I got a fresh turkey once, and it was amazing. Most of the time I get a frozen turkey. And I think the year I got the fresh turkey, I didn't plan ahead, and it was too late to thaw one out. So I didn't have any other option but to buy a
Mhm.
fresh turkey. And it was really quite good. And you don't have to worry about all the preservatives and anything else that might be in that turkey. But I typically will get a frozen turkey, and then
Mhm.
I will take it out of the freezer maybe 3, 4, 5 days ahead of Thanksgiving, depending upon how large it is. Set it in the refrigerator so that it can safely thaw out, and put it into a brine maybe the day before, and then I'm ready to go. But I've been doing something different with my turkey. I think this year I'm going to try. Well, I've been trying turkey breasts in the slow cooker,
Mhm.
and I tried a roasted chicken in the air fryer. So
Mhm.
I'm going to try a turkey breast in the air fryer and see how that turns out.
Oh. Now
Yeah,
you're going to marinate that first, right?
I don't know. I will see. I haven't done it yet.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's
I
just a
might have to call you and ask some
suggestion.
questions.
You'll want to marinate it because breast has a tendency to dry out.
Mhm.
And so trying to keep a nice, juicy turkey. That's what we want. Now, I'm going to stop for just a moment. Now, I hope at this point that those of you who have been with us and are listening and watching and being a part of the chat's blowing up over here. And
Oh
if you're
yeah.
finding any of the things that we're talking about helpful, please let us know in the chat. And for those of you who are new, please don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already to Miss Denise's channel as well as mine.
Give us
And
a thumbs
the
up.
information, and give us a thumbs up. And because all of that's important for our channels, for YouTube to know that you're here and that you're interested in what we're talking about. We would certainly appreciate that. Um, how many of you, what type of dressing do you normally prepare? I know I had some people who talked about, I did cornbread dressing a couple of weeks ago with my chicken, with my spatchcock chicken, which was so good.
You guys, if
And
you're roasting a chicken for this holiday season, you have got to check out her video on how to spatchcock a chicken and then do the dressing. Did you put that link in the description box below?
I do. I have
Oh,
that
because
down.
that chicken, I thought, oh my goodness.
It was really
I
good.
just
And
wanted to crawl through the screen.
well, I tell you what, for those of some people talked about the fact that some use bread in their dressing rather than all cornbread.
Mhm.
And so let us know the type of dressing that you may make. And some of you may call it stuffing versus dressing, even though most of us today prepare dressing rather than stuffing the turkey, just for fear that you
Mhm.
may not cook it enough. You know, you may have issues with bacteria and other things. So we have to be careful.
Yeah,
Now,
the
I'm gonna,
USDA does not recommend stuffing the turkey anymore.
no, they really don't. They really don't. And the last thing you want is to be sick at the
So if
holiday.
you want to put something in the turkey, you can do like apples, oranges, celery.
Mhm.
You can put onions, that kind of thing inside, because that'll cook, and then you're gonna scrape those out and pitch it. But the dressing that we use, you don't stuff the turkey with that anymore.
Absolutely. Now, we've got uh, Zax McCrae from California. Hello, hello.
And
We have
she's
Hillary said, okay, you two need your own show.
I would love to recommend
We're
us.
ready to go.
Also recommend us.
Absolutely. It would be a lot of fun. Oh my goodness, Luann harvested her own collard greens. Oh, I know they're going to be amazing, Luann. There's
Yes.
nothing better than fresh collards. Nothing. All right.
Oh, look at Terry. Yes,
Yes,
we
they
do.
do.
We're all for it. You guys just get us signed up.
Yes, I'm all for it too. Yolanda said she has already done all of her shopping. Good girl. She said she's going to be cooking her collards out of her garden. Oh, girl.
I
I
got
am.
collards from a friend's garden. My husband has a bunch of fishing buddies that also do gardens. So they brought us over some collards. They're in the freezer.
Oh
Because
boy.
now they pulled everything up now here. So,
Mhm.
but yes, I'll be using collards from somebody else's garden.
Well, that's okay, but they're still fresh. It's all
Mhm.
right. Who have I got here? I've got Sheila Drake Williams. Hello, hello. We're so
Hi,
glad to have
Sheila.
you with us. And Yolanda said that she did cranberry sauce last year and it really was a hit. She was surprised because her family loves ocean spray.
I'm
You
an
know,
ocean spray girl too. Yeah, yeah.
me too. Me too. You know, for some of us, we grew up with ocean spray, so that's what we're used to. Now, Terry said that she's Thanksgiving shopping on Friday,
Okay.
so that's good. That's good. You're yeah, and there's still sales out there to be
Well,
had.
all these
Hmm.
Kroger,
Hmm.
like Publix, all those stores have their Thanksgiving baskets on sale right now.
Yes, yes. And they're very reasonable. I think it was in the first show we were talking about some of the prices of what those baskets are. Oh, Hillary says she means the two of you need your own network show. Okay, we can do that. We can do
Mhm.
that.
I'm like saying, yeah, put us on Food Network. I'm for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yolanda said her granny taught her how to cook, but she always had problems with those biscuits.
Yeah, yeah. Miss Leona showed us how to make biscuits her way a couple of weeks ago. So if you
Mhm.
missed that show, she's got a link down below. I had one just before we jumped on. Those biscuits were freaking amazing. And I thought I knew how to make biscuits, but I learned several new things that day. So you got to try them.
Oh, 12 Sky, how gracious you all are. Thank you. She said when she first married, she didn't know how to cook the first thing, and it was so embarrassing. You know, I can certainly sympathize and understand
Me
because
too.
all of us understand, all of us have been at that point
Yeah.
sometime or another. And you know, you think about how gracious our husbands were that because they suffered through the beginning
Mhm.
to get to where we are now. Guess what, Denise? We celebrated our 48th wedding anniversary yesterday.
No, you didn't tell me that. Well, congratulations.
Yay!
48 years.
48 years.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
it was fun. You'll love it. We were both in two different places, and
Oh,
we didn't get to do anything
oh, that's right.
together,
You were
but we
busy
will.
yesterday.
We will.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get that going. Now, Cal's talk said she. What's her name?
Caroline, but she just goes by
Caroline.
Cal.
Okay. Cal likes lemon everything, so she says she's going to have to make her lemon pies. My mom loved lemon pies,
My
and
mom
the
used to
big
make
guy
lemon
likes lemon
meringue.
pies. We've got making it make sense. Hello, we're glad to see you. We
Yes.
have characteristics of a classic. Hello, hello. We're so glad to have you here. Tutu, I haven't seen you in
Hey,
a
Tutu.
long time. We're so glad to see you. Uh, JC Neal, hi. Hello, hello, hello. And oh, how sweet. Hillary says she prayed the Lord shines his loving light over all of our Thanksgiving tables.
Oh, Hillary, thank you.
Mm,
We all
that
need a blessing.
that is absolutely
And
precious.
back to you too. I hope your health is much better now.
Yes, yes. And it's just we're glad to just have you here and
Hmm.
to be in with us, you know, like minds and like hearts.
Yes.
And Granville, fresh, free range, organic turkey is absolutely the best. Oh my goodness, I bet it is. I
Mhm.
bet it is. And Vicki, I'm gonna come back to you in just a little while. We're going to continue. Now, let's take a look. Another thing, the first, at least in advance, I like to do during probably the week prior to Thanksgiving is that I typically go ahead and prepare the cornbread that I'm going to need for dressing because for me, I like to let it sit out a couple of days.
Mhm.
Now, I'll admit when I was doing the cornbread dressing on my video, I didn't have time to do that.
Ah,
But typically, I try to do the cornbread in advance and allowing it to dry out, get nice and dry. And it is, the bags of stuffing that you can find in the store. I think it's Pepperidge Farm.
yes, that's
You
what I
can
like.
buy that. I like the cornbread. It has herbs in it, and I usually throw a little bit of that in there too,
Hmm.
at least a bag. But the nice thing is that you end up with such great texture when
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah,
And
and I
so,
like the Pepperidge Farm because, like you said, has great texture. So I use that as a jumping off point.
hmm
But I also make my own pan of cornbread, and I like
hmm
to make it a day ahead. And like you said,
hmm
just kind of cut it up into cubes or
yep.
draw lines through it and just let
hmm
it sit there on the counter and dry out. My mom used to say if you use it while it's fresh, it makes your dressing heavy. And I didn't know what she meant until one time
hmm
I did it. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is what she means by heavy. So make
hmm
sure you let it dry out.
Yes, and it does. It does. If you want a fluffier, it makes it just lighter and fluffier when you're able to allow it to dry out. Also, for those of us, whether we have company coming or not, at least a week ahead of Thanksgiving, go ahead and get your house in order. Now,
Yes.
I know if you are following Miss Denise with Homemaking with Denise, then you already know the plan. You
Mhm.
have been working the plan throughout the month. But typically, before the holiday, there are a few little touches that you want to do. That week before is a good time that if you haven't done any decorating, you may want to put a few decor things out. And whether, like in my case, I've got family coming, so that who I won't see for Christmas, so
Mhm.
we're going ahead and getting Christmas set early. So but whatever your decision is, I know, everybody says, well, you're rushing Thanksgiving out. And so, I guess it does kind of seem like that. But what we usually do the day after Thanksgiving is that we actually celebrate Christmas with them because we know we won't see them for Christmas. And
Well,
so,
my sister, like Blue Skies,
mhm,
when she would come and she was still at home with my mom and she would
mhm,
come from Delaware, to Fort Wayne,
mhm,
they would put up the Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving. So
mhm,
we have at their house, they would have all Thanksgiving stuff, but then the day
mhm,
after, then she would put up the Christmas tree for my mom and dad. And I didn't like to put up anything for Christmas until 2 weeks before Christmas. So, like my son's birthday, all his birthday pictures would have Christmas stuff in it because I would put them in before his birthday, and then it would be up for that. But as I've gotten older, I have less capacity to do it all at once.
mhm.
So I'll probably start putting some of my Christmas things up um, next week, possibly.
Mhm. And I
Because
don't know about you. I'm not putting as much up
no.
as I used to. I put enough up that it makes me happy,
Hmm.
but not nearly as much as I used to.
Hmm.
And mainly because I love putting it up. I just hate taking it down.
And not only taking it down, but the video that I did last year, I can't remember which one it was. It might have been one of the videos we worked on together.
Mhm,
But my husband's got to climb that ladder and bring it all down.
mhm,
And he's not a spring chicken either. So, and
mhm,
I probably got at least 15 bins of Christmas decor. So he's got
mhm.
to bring all that down and he won't let me help him. And then he's got to put it all back up.
All
I
back.
can help pack it up and stack it, but he's still got to climb that ladder up into the attic to
Mhm.
put it up there. So I think this year, one of the things I'm going to do is declutter more.
Me too. Me too. And those things that I don't use this year, I'm planning to donate.
Hmm.
And then that's a nice way to be able to gift to somebody else
Yes.
who may need it. Um, the Saturday prior to Thanksgiving. Now that's usually my day when whatever it's close enough to Thanksgiving that there are just certain things that, there's certain items that when you go to the grocery store, certain perishables
Hmm.
that you can start to pick up. And I don't know about you. Do you usually do your dicing and slicing and all those kind of things in advance?
I had not, but I do now. I do
Hmm.
now. So like
Hmm.
I'll make that cornbread a couple days ahead, probably not that Saturday, but I'll make it a few days ahead and have
Hmm.
that sit on the counter. But I've started chopping up those carrots, those onions, the celery, and put them in little containers
Hmm.
and and then have them in the refrigerator so that when it's time to actually make that dressing, I've got those things prepped. And so, speaking on that, one of the things you want to make sure you have is the appropriate storage containers because you can't prep that stuff and put it in the fridge if you don't have the appropriate containers. Now, I
Hmm.
buy those Glad containers from like
Hmm.
Kroger or Walmart.
Hmm.
They're not they're disposable, but they're
Hmm.
reusable. So
Hmm.
they've got little
Hmm.
red lids or little blue lids or whatever. You put them in, and they're very inexpensive. And you can
Hmm.
stock the fridge with those, save up some things. If people want to take some home, you can send them out. And not it's not Tupperware, so you don't have
Right.
to worry about it.
you know, I also, in fact, I did it this week and they got here yesterday. But I typically try to make sure that I make an order for the heavy duty, because that's pretty much all I buy, the heavy duty freezer gallon bags,
Hmm.
zip gallon bags, and freezer quart bags. And
Hmm.
I use those mainly because it gives me the option. If I need to put it into the refrigerator, it's fine. And if I need to freeze it, I can throw it in the freezer.
Hmm.
And the nice thing about the quart size bags is that, if you're doing onions or celery or whatever it may be. Now, celery, I usually put water in the bag with the celery so it
Hmm.
doesn't, and just a little drop of lemon juice in there, and then zip it up, and that way it doesn't turn colors.
I want you to back up for a second. I want you to say that again because I want to make sure everybody heard that because I didn't used to do that until I heard you say it once before. So tell them
Mhm.
about that again.
Yeah, I'll fill that quart bag with celery, chopped celery, however you want your celery, and then cover it with nice cool water. And then take a little squeeze of lemon. It can either be the bottled lemon juice or it can be fresh if you have it. And just squeeze a little bit in there and then zip it up. And then put it and lay it flat so it will freeze flat.
Hmm.
And as well as the onions or whatever it is, freeze them flat. And they take up less space in your freezer. But like I've got celery, I've got onions, I've got carrots.
Hmm.
And at this point, because you know what your menu is, you know how those particular items need to be chopped, whether they need to be grated, whether they need to be a nice dice, whether they need to be sliced. Those are all the things that you're thinking about at this point. And just think of how much time you will save having it ready. I also grated my cheese for the macaroni and cheese. So I've got the cheese grated and in the freezer. So then that way it's ready. But and of course, in the case of cheese, it's so much better to have your own grated cheese than to use the stuff that's in the store. And it's typically less expensive too.
Well, when you buy the block cheese and then grate it yourself, you don't get those preservatives or fixatives that they use, the
Hmm.
anti-caking agent. You don't get
Hmm.
the anti-caking agent, which they put in it. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking about all those little things that they tend to add to um, food to avoid certain things that may happen, like in the case of the caking or whatever it may be. And, just think over time, those are things we really don't need. And
No.
so, not health wise. So, we want to make sure that we have all of that. Now, what dishes, or if you do, what dishes, and those of you who are out there in the audience, if you prepare particular dishes in advance and either put them into your refrigerator or you freeze them in advance so that you can take them out the night before and know that on Thanksgiving you just have to put them into your oven, what dishes do you prepare for that? Let us know in the description box because we've got a variety of different people who are here, some of
Mhm.
which are very seasoned and some aren't so much. And so we need to let them know what they can freeze.
Well,
Uh,
one of the things I'll do early is I'll make my collards early.
mhm,
People
mhm,
want, I'll get them out of the freezer because I've blanched them and put them in the freezer, but now I'll
mhm,
get them out and I'll go ahead and completely cook them.
mhm,
And then I'll put them in a container or, well, I'll put them in a container because I want all the pot liquor in it. And then
mhm,
I'll put it back in the freezer. And then when it comes to Thanksgiving Day, I can take it out the day before or that
mhm,
morning and put it in a slow cooker and just let it
mhm.
thaw out and it can warm up in there and
Yeah.
it's already cooked. The other option is like I've got those greens frozen in there now, and I did
Mhm,
blanch them. I can
mhm,
put them in the slow cooker and put whatever it is I want to put in there, and then
mhm.
let them sit there on the counter and just kind of cook all morning, and it's not occupying a space on my stove.
On your stove and anything that you can do that you can kind of knock out.
Hmm.
And I know now I cook my turkey, what I would call during the night,
Hmm.
because I typically start at about 1 o'clock and cook it. And when I get up in the morning, it's done.
My mom did
Yeah.
that.
And I do that because, and that was before I started spatchcocking it.
Hmm.
And if I want to keep the real shape of the turkey because I want it for a presentation, I thought about that. I have found this turkey dish,
Hmm.
and it's huge. And when I bought it, I thought, oh my goodness, it's got nice little beads around it.
Hmm.
It's just a pretty dish, but I'm thinking, okay, I can use this for decor, or I can use it for my turkey or something big like that. And so, and it was on sale. You ready for this? Less than $10.
Really? Oh, that was a
Less
great
than $10.
bargain.
I jumped on it. I jumped on it real quick because I probably won't use it a lot,
Hmm.
but mainly for
But when
special.
you need it, you need it.
It's there. That's it. That's it. So so I thought about some of the things that I like to prepare at least a day. You figure you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, major cooking days. And
Mhm.
really by Thursday, actually Thanksgiving Day, you've got the turkey, you'll be able to pop the rolls in the oven.
Mhm.
And yes, ladies, get those rolls in the oven. And you'll be ready to just put things in the oven, which really just takes the stress away. So let's see what we've got going over here. Let's see. I stopped with Vicky. Vicky said she's never tasted a fresh turkey. She'll have to try that one day, Lord willing. Absolutely.
Mhm.
There is just something different about the texture and the flavor of that fresh turkey. You'll like it. You'll like it. Now, Cal said, she said she knows it sounds dumb. So, can you tell me why you can't cook a frozen turkey?
They're too heavy. They're too, by the time they thaw out,
Mhm.
then you've got to get the temperature of the turkey up to a certain degree. It's going to take forever to do that. Not to mention frozen turkeys have all the giblets and everything inside.
Inside.
So that
Mhm,
means you're cooking all that inside as well.
mhm. And, they're covered in that little bag. There's
Mhm.
just things inside of there that you aren't going to want to have in there. And so you want to make sure that you have thawed your turkey and got it, all those things cleaned out of there.
Mhm.
And Stephen, hello, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
Wonderful. Glad to have you with us. Um,
Oh,
She said he's done a turkey breast in the air fryer. Oh, that's good. Well, give us all the goodies because Miss
yes.
Denise is going to be trying it. Let her know all the things that you did to make that turkey delicious.
Well, I
And
just figure I have to figure out, like, if I'm making a video on how to do something for Thanksgiving, I've roasted turkeys twice. So I figure I need to do something different
mm-hmm,
for our viewers. And I tried the turkey in the slow cooker, the turkey breast, and it was amazing. And
mm-hmm,
I did the roasted chicken in the air fryer.
mm-hmm.
That was freaking amazing. So I thought,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna try the turkey breast. So yes,
Mhm.
Stephen, let us know about that.
Yeah.
You're
It's
certainly welcome to join us.
yeah, we're so glad you're here. Let's see, we've got gizzard cornbread dressing.
My mom used
I
to use
love
the
it,
gizzards.
but my family doesn't.
Hmm. Yeah.
I have family members that pick things out of the dressing. Don't you hate it?
Hmm.
Oh goodness. Um, 12 Sky said always cornbread. That's great.
Now,
Vic,
Leon, I'm going to say I love dressing, and I'll eat anybody's dressing. I'll eat white bread dressing, but I prefer cornbread dressing. I've had sausage dressing, all this kind of stuff.
mhm.
Probably anything but seafood dressing I might like, but I just like dressing. But
Yeah, I do
you can
too.
just certainly tell the difference in texture when you use the cornbread. It just makes it that much
It
better.
does. It does. There's just something about that cornbread. A cornbread sausage dressing. I've made that before. I love it. And actually, I like mine a little spicy. So I usually use a spicy sausage in there. Vicky likes cornbread dressing. Michelle says she uses sandwich bread, onion, celery, and sage, egg, and chicken broth to moisten the bread.
Mhm.
Okay, my mom used to do a mixture of bread. She would
Yes.
let the bread, put it into an oven, and let it
Mhm.
actually get nice and crispy, really, really crispy, like
Dry
we
it out.
would with the cornbread to let it dry out. And it had a good light texture. Steven said he uses wild rice with
Ooh,
mushrooms and onions as his dressing. Oh,
I
yum.
bet that's delicious.
It does sound delicious. I like that. Tutu loves Minnie said she has hot sausage and chestnut dressing using a hearty white country bread. Now I have never had chestnut dressing. I can tell you that. Never ever.
I've not either, but I love chestnuts in a few things I've had it in.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
but that's delicious.
But that sounds really good. And I do like the idea of that hot
It
sausage
sounds
in
very
there.
Charles Dickens.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay, Sheila Drake Williams said cornbread dressing for us Southern folk. Absolutely.
I'm from Indiana. I'm from the Midwest, but my mom always made cornbread dressing.
Don't leave you out.
Yep.
Carol said her mother-in-law uses cornbread crackers
Oh,
and biscuits crumbled up in her dressing.
so
Now
she's
I
using all
haven't
her
done that.
leftover
We
bread.
do what we do. Everybody's got a
Yeah.
combination. I That is something I haven't tried, but I'm sure it's good. Luann said a friend had turkey in the tub defrosting. We went to she we went to the base for dinner. She did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if I like the turkey in the tub.
I don't know.
Not if it's a
Evidently,
bathtub. Mm-mm.
yeah, evidently, I guess she didn't have a large enough container for it. Um, well, she probably washed out the tub really, really good. We're going to assume that.
I don't care.
And
I'm with Luann.
okay,
I don't care.
okay. It's just the thought of it being in the tub. Okay, Nita says she makes cornbread, not Jiffy dressing. All right, all right.
But
Now,
now,
Nita, to be honest with you, most of the time I make my cornbread from
I was going
scratch
to
too. I
say,
only use Jiffy if I'm
don't
in a
throw shade
hurry.
on Jiffy. Because
Yep.
Jiffy's pretty good. But one time though, I was doing something on the video and somebody left me a comment. I just know she's not going to use Jiffy. But some people feel like it's not real or authentic if you're not making
Hmm.
your own pan of cornbread. So for
Hmm.
you young home cooks out there, you young homemakers, no shade. If you want to use Jiffy,
That's right.
use Jiffy. Keep in mind though that Jiffy's just a little bit sweet, which means it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna make your cornbread dressing a little bit sweet.
Yep.
But
Yep.
your people will give you better props if you make your own panic cornbread, and it's not too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Nita. The real cornbread is absolutely the best way to go. But for those of us who will occasionally fix that dressing, maybe even for a weeknight meal, we may not have time to do it from scratch. Or for those who are working and they're coming in, they got the kids, they may have to do it quick. So,
Mm-hmm.
but for Thanksgiving, we're going to go all the way. So we're going to
Right.
have homemade dressing. Um, let's see, JC, uh, cows talk. I think most people thaw out turkey that way. It doesn't take as long to cook. Ah,
Yeah,
put
Cal,
your,
you got to put it in the fridge because you can't.
mm-hmm,
Like some people would put it in the sink in the kitchen
mm-hmm,
in water, and if
mm-hmm,
you do that, you have to change the water every 30 to
constantly.
45 minutes.
Mm-hmm,
Constantly because you don't want that those I can't remember if it's salmonella, botulism, whatever. You don't want those germs building up.
salmonella. Mm-hmm.
You don't want those building up in there. So, but they prefer USDA recommends you thaw it in the refrigerator so
In
that
the
it
refrigerator.
stays cool. So you
Yeah.
need to take it out at least 3 days before. And
Mhm.
then if it's not completely thawed out in the middle, you can still like put it in the sink, run the water right down in the cavity and get your hand in there
Mhm.
to pull out the giblets and all of that.
And the ice, because the ice is going to come out too, whatever ice it may be in there. So you can clean it out. You've got a chance to get all the inner workings of the turkey out.
Mhm.
Cal says she's going shopping on Friday. All right, that's a good time. Vicky says she's heard of people using sourdough bread to make a pan of stuffing.
Oh, that makes
She
sense.
heard it was good, and she said, but she's never had it. Yes, I've heard that too. And of course, it's easy to, with the sourdough, you also want to leave that bread out
Ooh.
for a while. Now, an orange cranberry relish
Mhm.
recipe. Sheila, I actually do. I do have that. I've got to find it, but I do have it. And if I find it, I'll post it on the community page for you
Okay,
and
that's good.
put that up because one of the relishes that I make does have the orange in it as well. And it's a pretty salad because of the colors. All right, we'll do a few more. Hillary said that after all of the hustle and bustle, try to take time to remember that God loves us. And she's so thankful for that. You are absolutely right, because that's really what the day is all about,
Yeah.
thankfulness and family.
And let me just say too, this is a little bit off subject, but one
Mhm,
of the things when I'm preparing my Thanksgiving dinner, I don't serve alcohol or wine with my
mhm,
Thanksgiving dinner.
mhm,
And in Indiana, you can have iced tea and lemonade with everything.
mhm,
So I have iced tea, I'll have lemonade, and I'll have all kinds of pop, ginger ale,
mhm.
Pepsi, that kind of thing. But I don't serve wine or any kind of alcohol. Now, every now and then I'll catch my husband and him and the guys going out in the garage and getting a beer, and they'll be taking it. But, I have a couple of family members that have trouble with alcohol. So it's easy for me not to serve it so that they're not tempted. And even though she'll say, "Oh, it's okay, I'm over it," it's just like, you know what? I don't have to have it. And I hear so many families end up with lots of arguments and different things going on. And a lot of times that revolves around alcohol.
Mhm.
Just figure if we don't have it, it's not a problem.
That's right. That's right. And typically when you have guests, if they don't see it,
Mhm.
they most of the time they won't ask.
Right.
They won't ask. And so usually what they see set up in your drink, yeah, at your drink spot, your drink station, that's the drink. That's the drink
Mhm.
for the day. Now we usually put together a punch, and it's a punch that everybody can drink.
I make a
And
wassail.
whether it's wassail, sometime my son-in-law likes more fruit punchy type of drink, and it's pretty. So then that way we can do that, but no one misses the alcohol or
Mhm.
having the alcohol, because I could care less whether they have it or not. So anyway, Zax is saying that if you make your cranberry sauce using orange juice instead of water, that it also takes it to another
Ooh,
level. Oh,
that
I
sounds
bet that is good.
delicious.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds great. Um, Yolanda said she learned not to manipulate the dough. Oh, that must be with the biscuits. Yes.
Yeah, and see,
Not to-
that was the thing. That was me too, yeah, yeah. I knew not to manipulate the dough too much, but I always get out my rolling pin and I'm going to roll it to about, maybe 3/4 inches and then cut it. And then Miss Leona said, when you roll it, you flatten out the layers. So when you break the biscuit in half and you see the different layers of it, well, if I've rolled it out, they're pressed together. I'm like, oh, I
Mhm.
didn't know that. So
Yeah, yeah. Now we've got Tutu. Wonderful. She said they just celebrated their 45th. Woohoo!
yeah.
Congratulations. Um, Cal said that Cal is her true nickname for real. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm glad to know. She said it's her name's Carolyn. Okay. All right, Carolyn. I want to make sure that we know you're named after your mom. Oh, that's so sweet. All right, Hillary's with us. Congratulations. Thank you. Yours was November 6th, 26 years for you. And you turned
Congratulations.
59. Oh, you're such a baby.
Yeah, I was
59.
59 once, but I got over it.
You're a baby. I love it. I love it. But Tutu said she's going to make a sweet potato souffle without any sugar, but it's savory with onions and Gruyere cheese. Oh, I bet that's delicious with a sweet potato
Mm.
casserole. And that's different. That's something different. I know my husband would love that because he's kind of iffy on the sweet potato casseroles, mainly because most of them are so sweet. So that
Yeah,
is certainly something.
that sounds delicious. And for those
Mhm,
people with diabetes and that are trying to cut back on the sugar, I'll
mhm.
bet that's delicious. I might look for something like that. Ooh, that
Yeah.
sounds good too.
Let's see. Um, Hillary said she is better. She started using Skyrizi for Crohn's and she's doing much better. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Praise the Lord for
both
that.
were better.
Oh, that's wonderful. Tutu said now that the kids have moved away, she said we took over the closet in one of their former bedrooms and made it a Christmas closet. Oh, that's a good idea. So you're not having to climb so much to put your Christmas decoration away. So
Hmm.
we've got a lot of good things that are going on here. Let's see. They're talking about decor. Let's see. Tutu said she doesn't freeze anything, but she has a great sous chef who's her husband. All right. You sound like my daughter-in-law and son. They don't freeze anything. They don't prep anything in advance. They get up at like 5 o'clock Thursday morning and they cook and they prepare everything fresh. And we're sitting at the table by 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
Dinner done.
Mhm.
And it's a well-oiled machine. And so I'm impressed. I'm impressed, but I don't think I have that stamina at this point, Denise, to be able to
I
do
don't
that.
either.
I would love to be able to do that, but I just can't do it. All right. Now, we've talked about chopping and storing our vegetables. We have talked about making sure that our menus are set, that we know who our guests are going to be for the most part. And that's not to say you might not invite somebody else in between.
Mhm.
Uh, my suggestion to you, if at all possible, and you know your situation, but if you're hosting, try to include somebody who may be at home by themselves celebrating Thanksgiving. It
Yeah.
is always so nice to have at least one or two extra people.
Hmm.
I try to do that. I try to find somebody, whether it's through our church, sometimes it's a new family in the neighborhood, but
Hmm.
invite them to Thanksgiving. And I don't let them bring anything.
Hmm.
I just want them to come and be a part of the family. And so it's an opportunity for us to be able to share the love with someone else as well as the food. So
Absolutely. And
absolutely.
can I back up for a second too? I
Mhm.
don't want to, if I don't say this, I'm gonna forget it. But when you were
Sure.
talking about storing things in the refrigerator,
Mhm.
one of the things you're going to want to do too is to clean the refrigerator on that Saturday before Thanksgiving. Get everything cleared out so that the refrigerator is ready to receive all the things that you're going to make to put in there. So if you're making your mac and cheese ahead, you got to have somewhere to put it. If
Absolutely.
you're if you need to put your turkey in there to thaw out, you got to have somewhere to put it.
Mhm.
And I know I've seen some YouTube creators get a cooler and put the
Mhm.
turkey in the cooler and cover it
Mhm.
with ice. But
Mhm.
the USDA does not recommend that just because
Mhm.
they don't know that you've kept it at a good temperature the whole time.
Right.
So,
And it is hard.
yeah, so get your refrigerator ready to receive all the things that you're going to need. And if your butter's in the freezer, unless you're saving it to shave it for your biscuits, get it out of the freezer so you got butter ready to cook to use when you're baking.
You all laugh. We after we had done our biscuit show, I Miss Denise and I are usually yakking after the show, after you all are gone. And I went over to the freezer and pulled out my bags of shredded butter to be able to show her that I have it all ready for whenever I need to prepare biscuits, that I can do that. And so
I
it's a
shredded mine before we got started, and it takes a minute to shred up
It
butter.
does. It does. But it's nice. And that's another reason why it's nice to have it already done.
Mhm.
And one other tip, too, with those biscuits is the colder you can keep everything, keep your dough cold. And if for some reason it happens to sit out and it starts to get warm, put it back in the freezer for 5 or 10 minutes and let it really get nice and cold and then get ready to go. Now, I'm going to, if you don't mind, Miss Denise, I'm going to kind of jump ahead a little bit
Okay.
because our time is moving away. We had a
Oh,
lot of conversation today. And that might mean that we're going to have to talk about some of this while we're doing what we're going to do next week. Now, brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. The ladies are going to be in the kitchen next week on Wednesday night. We're going to be preparing pie crust,
mhm,
and I'm going to do it my way. And Miss Denise is going to be doing it her way because we have two different techniques.
mhm.
And then you have the option of being able to decide which one is the one that you like to do best.
And
And
we're going to put the ingredients in the
in our
like we did before.
We will. We will post those so that if you want to work on your pie crust in advance, and I certainly suggest that you do, and have those pie crusts ready, then you can do that. But next Wednesday night, 7:45, there will be pie crusts that are going to be made, and that's as we're talking about make ahead dishes, those are some of the things that we're going to want to do. This is also a time for us to think about. I just thought about this, and I don't want that to get away and to wait. Take a look at your tools
Mm.
in advance. Know what you're preparing. Make sure that you have the pans, the spoons, if you're going to be using your stove top, make sure that it's in working order. Your oven, make sure that it's in good order and clean before you get started. If you're going to be using your slow cooker or cookers, make sure that they're nice and clean and they're
Or
ready
a brand new turkey roaster.
to go. Miss Janice will show you she's got something fun. And even your microwave, ladies and gentlemen, we use all of our tools, and that's a good thing. And that's something that sometimes new home cooks have a tendency to get kind of into a box, and it's mainly because they don't know that they can start to, what they've learned to do over here, you can actually expand it and do it somewhere else. And so if you're making a soup for the week of Thanksgiving, and for those of you who maybe didn't know that we were doing make ahead dishes on our community page, keep this in mind. We are suggesting some things that you might want to prepare in advance for that week, so that on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, or even Black Friday, that you can have those dishes already made, all prepared in your freezer, so that when it's time to cook that particular day, you can focus on something else, or whether it's your family, or whether it's cleaning, or whatever it may be, some prepping for Thanksgiving. But those make ahead dishes are certainly going to save you time and money.
And here's the thing too. So, like, for example, I know I'm going to have family here for that week. If they come in on, say, Tuesday or Wednesday, Thanksgiving's not till Thursday. That means they got to have something to eat Wednesday morning for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so what are you going to serve them? So having those make ahead breakfast casseroles that you talked about, those kind of things are really, really helpful. Have those ready and in the freezer so you can just pull them out. Have the biscuits made in the freezer. And that was such a nice tip, to have the biscuits in the freezer, get them out, and then, bake them. And one morning, the next day, I did like biscuit sliders with like little ham slices. And I did little sliders with the ham, or you could do sliders with turkey, those kind of things. But little things that you can have prepared to feed the people before Thanksgiving. And then after Thanksgiving, they may want leftovers for a couple days, but they might need something for breakfast. And I know my son-in-law, he's always looking for a regular meal. So he's going to want bacon and eggs and grits and the whole 9 yards for breakfast. So it's like, I already know I have to get those things in so that I'm prepared. So those make ahead meals are important. So not just the dishes on Thanksgiving Day, but around the days that you still got to feed people, unless you plan to go out and eat every meal. And who wants to do that?
Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, because the pricing, we can't. I know, just if we took the kids out the other day, and we're talking $60-$70 before we're finished. And it's like, whoa. And all we had were like eggs and pancakes, it was after church. But that's a luxury, that's a treat, for that time. But if you have them staying at your house, I just think it's a hostess. It's nice to be able to offer something, if they don't want that, and then they can opt to go out. But whatever, typically everyone's pretty gracious, and they will eat whatever's prepared.
And you can get quiches ahead of time. You can either pick quiches up from like Gordon Food Service or Kroger or something, or make your own quiche, have them, ready to go in the freezer, and then bring it out, bake it or whatever. So there's lots of things.
Soups, all of those things are very easy to have and ready to go. Now, I hope tonight has certainly gotten your mind to revved up, and that you are thinking about what's next. And I'm looking to see
I think we were on Wednesday.
Yes, we're on Wednesday, and I guess we're going to have to finish some of this up, because we've already been on for an hour, and they've been so good to let us to be a part of the conversation, because Denise and I can go a couple of hours easily. But Tutu said that she usually makes desserts Wednesday morning. and she makes her stuffing, her mashed potatoes. I know she's got mashed potatoes like you, her cheesy carrots, ooh, yum,
Mm.
and macaroni and cheese prepped, but for the cooking, and then prep all the vegetables like the broccoli and whatever. So she's got a plan. Tutu's got a
Mhm.
plan, definitely. Look who's here with us. We've got Florence who's here with us.
Florence,
The Equip
hello.
Institute. We're glad to have you here. And she's definitely a cornbread girl all the way. Denise said that, I mean, Vicky said that she's making her pecan pie and sweet potato casserole with the brown sugar pecan topping on it for on Christmas Eve.
Send me a piece.
Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, that sounds delicious. Hillary said you can make sweet potato casserole and freeze it, but just don't put the topping on until you're ready to bake. Okay. Sandy said that she puts her 12-pound turkey in a container at the bottom of her fridge for 8 days before, and she's never had a problem with it. Yeah,
Mhm.
that gave you that. Yeah, you've got plenty of time for that turkey to thaw. Absolutely. That's a good idea. And if you have a question about your turkey, and we can give you our ideas to what we use, go to the authorities. There is a Talk Turkey. I think it's 1-800 Talk Turkey. I'll have to post it. I'm sure that's what it is. 1-800 Talk Turkey or 1-800 Turkey. But it's basically the food and drug, people, where they're going to let you know all the if, ands, and buts about turkeys. And you can even go online to Google and just type in turkey, and it will actually bring you up to, I'm looking here, I know we've got,
I looked up real quick
uh-huh.
when we were talking. They have a Butterball Turkey Talk line.
Okay.
1-800 Butterball.
Oh, okay. It's Butterball.
Yeah,
Okay.
1-800 Butterball or 1-800-288-8372. But yeah, there's that one.
Well, even if your turkey isn't a Butterball, that's a good place to start,
Mhm.
because the main thing is you just need to know what the poundage is for your turkey, and
Mhm.
never depend on that little popper to indicate for you what your turkey's going to be. So when you go to 1-800 Butterball, it's going to tell you what the internal temperature should be, and use a meat thermometer and actually find out what the internal temperature of your turkey is. Granville said that sausage, apple, dry
Oh,
cranberry dressing. Oh
that
my
sounds
goodness, that sounds
amazing.
amazing. Sounds so good. I don't know, I might have to try that,
I
Granville.
made that one year or something similar to that one year.
Mhm.
And my sister was like, "You got a lot of nerve making something different on Thanksgiving. You don't switch it up. We want the old standbys." It's like, don't be switching it up or trying something new on the holiday. It was so good, but they were not happy. But I like that.
Oh, Susie says she just watched your garlic chicken breast recipe, and that's going to be really helpful when she makes hers on Thanksgiving. Oh,
Okay.
that's wonderful. Michelle says she likes cornbread dressing with chicken. I do too. Holidays have to be the sandwich bread kind because that's how her grandmother made it.
That's what I was just saying. Mickey Blue Sky
Mhm.
said, "Look, don't be trying nothing new on Thanksgiving and Christmas. We want what we've been having for the last 50, 60, 70, 80 years." So I hear you, Michelle.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hillary said that spatchcocking poultry is the bomb. Yes, it is, and it just saves so much time.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm trying to get to her. Lysandra Lucas said she's making her Jiffy cornbread and adding regular cornbread in the mix.
Oh,
There you go. There you go. You do what you need to do to get the job done. It's mainly about getting that job done.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Lathea, I believe is how she pronounces it. Her mom used to buy a new wastebasket every year for the kitchen, and she would spend days making the cast iron skillet cornbread and then mix the dressing in that particular wastebasket. Boy, she must have a lot of dressing. A
Yeah.
lot of
Even
dressing.
if she bought a small one that was like this big, that's a lot of dressing.
That's a lot of dressing. Bless your heart. You all must have had a good sized family.
Mhm.
Wow.
Sometimes I'll use that black and white speckled
Mm-hmm.
canner. Sometimes
Yep.
I'll use that to mix the dressing up in because it's pretty big and deep and you can
Mhm.
stir it and you're not getting stuff sprayed out everywhere.
Oh, I know. I use that too for a macaroni and cheese,
Mm-hmm.
and then put it into multiple aluminum pans to bake it. Now, I learned something, Denise, that's new that I'm gonna throw in. So all inquiring minds are gonna want to know this. I don't know about you, but back in the day when we would cook our macaroni and cheese, typically we cooked it until it was hot and bubbly and it had little golden bits all around it. And typically what happened is that you would have like a little separation of the butter would come across the top.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I was watching a couple of chefs, and they are suggesting that we not cook it that long. That
Oh,
because we're causing the dairy product to separate when
separate.
you cook it that long. And that's why you get that layer of grease that's on
Mm-hmm.
top of the mat. So they said, back up the time a little bit. As soon as it starts to bubble, if you want it to get just a little bit golden, then put it under the broiler. But that's short and sweet, just enough to bring that little brownness to it, but not to overcook the macaroni and cheese. And they were
Oh.
talking about that most home cooks overcook their macaroni and
Mhm.
cheese. And so I thought, huh,
Yeah.
okay, I learned something because that was the way my mama did it. So that's the way I did it.
I did it too. So I'll try to remember that.
Hmm. 12 Skies said that this is her first year brining a turkey, and she's praying that she can make enough room in the fridge. Yes, you can. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Um, so let's see.
Oh,
What?
Frank Jackson is even here.
Where?
Frank Jackson, he's always on Florence's channel.
Yeah.
He's even
Uh,
here.
I missed him. But we're glad to have him. We
Yeah.
are so glad you're here. I'm kind of floating through, trying to make sure I get as many. You'll like this. D. Ost. She said she could listen to both of us talk for a while. She said we're a treasure.
I like that. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you. I
you. We
appreciate that.
appreciate that. Oh, Nitty T is with us. Hello. It's been a while. We're so glad you're here with us
We
today.
are.
Glad to have you. And oh, here's Frank. I see Frank. Here's Frank. Hello. We're glad to have you as well. This has certainly been fun. Now, before I let you all go, because I know you've got a lot of things to do this evening, before you close your eyes to go to sleep, think about this. Now is a time that if you haven't done it, pull out your notebook and start jotting things down of the things that you might want to do, know you have to do, and making a list, a little checklist of things that you really want to get done between now and Thanksgiving Day. Next week, I had a little portion on here talking about setting the table, creating a cozy atmosphere, but I think we'll talk about that next week while we're making our pie
Making pie
crust.
crust.
We can put that off. And so at this point, just a reminder, November 20th, which is next Wednesday, we're going to I think I had it here. I thought I had it here. Anyway, I'll go here. This is where I'll go. A reminder for our make ahead dishes. They're posted on both Miss Denise's community page as well as mine. We also have those linked, our pages linked in our description box so that you can see some of the make ahead dishes that we're suggesting. I also posted for you down in the description box. One in particular, I did a chicken and pasta cacciatore for one of your make ahead dishes. And I have a video for that. And so that video has been put down in the description box as well. So I hope you will go take a look at that. And I know Miss Denise has some wonderful dishes that she is going to want to share with you, and that we'll be adding things as we go, as
Yes.
we think of it between now and next Wednesday. Um, Denise, what else can you think of that maybe I haven't thought of?
Um, it sounds like we've got pretty much got everything covered. I think we're going to talk about setting up stations and all that stuff
Mhm.
next week, so we don't have to cover that right now. And I'll be answering all that. So I'm thinking we just want to make sure that you do take the time to plan ahead, get started on that Saturday before, as Miss Leona mentioned, and just work your way through it. And then if you're going away for the Thanksgiving dinner, and just have to take one or two things, then prep that. And then
Mhm.
also get your kids excited about the holiday. Even
Mhm.
though it might just be you and your boo now, but when you get there, there may be some grandkids or some other people there. Let them know how excited you are to see them at the holiday time too, so they can share in your excitement and you can share in their joy as well.
Absolutely. And we like to, I usually take some kind of activity when I'm traveling to
Mhm,
wherever I'm going. And I take an activity to be able to sit down and do just with them.
mhm,
And just that special time with you and the children who are there means so much.
mhm.
And we talked last week about the children's table, and it was funny because I was looking at a commercial the other day, and that's exactly what they had done. They had the cutest little children's table all set up, and the kids were having a ball.
Mhm.
And so it made them feel special. And so, we've got multi generations that are going to be sitting around our tables. And as we talk about sitting around our table, we're not just talking about the one dining room table, because
Yeah.
most of us have tables in all kinds of rooms, trying to make sure we've covered those who are going to watch football, those are going to be in the kitchen, those are going to be in the dining room. And so we want to make sure that everyone feels inclusive.
Yeah.
Uh, do you all, and I can ask this, I think everybody will go along with it. Do you all have a joint grace that you say before you start, everyone through the buffet, going through and serving
Yeah,
their
we
plate?
do. We'll all gather around in a circle and hold
Mhm.
hands, and then either my husband or my son will say grace. And
Mhm.
then, it's always kind of funny because I always think about when I was a little girl, when my uncle Grady and his family would come and we would have dinner at our house.
Mhm.
And Uncle Grady would always, then you'd say a Bible verse. So after they said grace, then
Uh-huh.
each person would say a Bible verse. And
Mhm.
Uncle Grady would always say, "Rise, Peter, slay and eat." And that's a Bible verse, and it's a short one, but every single time he would say, "Rise, Peter, slay and eat." And I always remember that. And I think of Uncle Grady when at Thanksgiving time, when we're gathered around, we don't do the Bible verse anymore. And that's
Mhm.
probably sad that we don't, but so many kids today, they don't know Bible verses.
I know.
When you were little, you learned them, you went to Sunday school, you
Mhm.
went to church, you learned all that. They don't learn Bible verses like individually like that much anymore.
Mhm.
But we used to always do that.
Well, we even sometimes, rather than having, typically Conway's the patriarch, so we usually have him to do the grace. Or if we're at someone else's house, whomever that person is, we'll have them to do the grace. But that's something that for all of us, please remember to certainly thank God for the what He has provided for us.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter who cooks it. It doesn't even matter if it's the best tasting food that you've had. It's about spending the time around the table and with the people who are in the room with
Yeah.
you together. And certainly value each and every holiday that you
Yes,
have, because the next holiday is not promised to us.
that's right. And it
So
seems like there's an empty chair every holiday season.
it is. It
Okay.
is. So I'm not rushing everyone away. I am certainly so happy that all of you are here, and we are thankful that you are here with us. I see quite a few people who are new to our shows, and I'm glad that you were able to be with us. And please be with us next week as
Mhm.
we prepare our pie crust. We're going to be in the kitchen having a good time and talking about setting up our table for Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
So, without further ado, to all of you, have a blessed week. We hope to see you this time at 7:45 next week,
Mhm.
ready to go. In the kitchen, the cooking ladies are going to be at it again. So get ready, get ready, get ready. Mwah! Enjoy. Denise, stay right there, and we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.